Hi everyone, my name is Karlee. I'm a junior here at NSU, and I work for the Study Abroad office as a Sharks Abroad peer advisor, and I also work for the Study Abroad company called ISA. So I will talk to you about my journey studying abroad and how you can begin yours too. So my freshman year of college, I decided I want to study abroad over the summer, but I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do or what my options were. So I just went to the Study Abroad office to see what I could do. And the woman I talked to said I should go to London because she had just went to University of Roehampton and I would love it and it's beautiful and amazing. So I just was like, they speak English there, so why not? Sounds good to me. So I decided on London, England. And it was the best decision ever. These are pictures of the university. There weren't really any local students there because students in London don't really study abroad or study at school over the summer. So it was basically just me and other people who were studying abroad from the United States and Australia. The university was very small. It was actually a lot like Nova. My walk to class in the morning was super quick. And it's one of the few universities in England where there are actually dorms right on the campus for students to stay at. So the dorm I was in was a lot like Commons. There was 4 girls and we had our own bedrooms, but we shared a common area. So it was really nice. And these are pictures of the university. It's so beautiful. So one of the best things about studying abroad is getting to see not only the most famous tourist sites, but also the hidden gems of the location and living like the locals. So on the right here is Windsor Castle, which is obviously a big tourist attraction. Usually the Queen lives there on the weekends, and there's a certain flag that is raised when she's there. And it was raised while I was there, so I think she was there when I was, so that was exciting. The company I was traveling with, ISA, took us on a lot of these kinds of tours, which is nice because when you're with a big group like that, you can cut the lines and get into places for free and things like that. So obviously going to the touristy sites when you're studying abroad is something that you want to do, but you also want to get to live like the locals. The great thing about studying abroad is that I live there, so I was living the day-to-day life of an English person, like going to the local coffee shops and bars and clubs and restaurants and things like that aren't as touristy. Especially by the University of Roehampton, it's not right in the center of London, so it's more of the small town vibe. And I like this because I like seeing more of the daily life of the normal people just walking down the streets and they know their neighbors and it's really nice. And I feel like if I was in the city center the whole time, I would not have been as immersed in the true culture of the normal English person. So this is a map of London. And as you can see, this is like the city center where most of the touristy sites are, like Big Ben. Where I was studying was more in this area. So it was pretty nice distance. It was a pretty quick train ride away. That's pretty cheap, but you're not right in the center where it's going to be chaotic all the time. So I think it was a good location for me personally. Another great thing about studying abroad is that you have cheaper and easier access to places outside of the place that you're living in, especially in Europe. It's just as easy to get from other countries in Europe than it is to get to other states in the United States. It's a lot cheaper and more accessible. So one of the first days I was there, I had a lot of free time and it was a weekend and I wanted to go somewhere and utilize this time to do something fun. So it was like 10 p.m. and I was in my room and I called one of the girls from my class and I was like, hey, can you come over for a minute? And she's like, yeah, sure. So she came over to my room and I was like, let's go somewhere fun. Where do you want to go? And she's like, we're not going anywhere. It's like 10 p.m. Like, come on, let's just go to sleep. And I was like, no, like, we have all this time. Let's just go somewhere. It'll be great. And she's like, fine. So an hour later, we booked a trip to Nice, France, which is a very beachy location in the south of France, which was great for me because I love the warm weather. And it was really rainy and chilly in London, even though it was mid-July. So we went to Nice, France, and we stayed in a great hostel where we made some awesome friends that I still keep in contact with to this day. And it was probably one of the best times I had the whole summer. While we were in Nice, I also wanted to go to Monaco, which is where these pictures were taken, because of the movie Monte Carlo with Selena Gomez. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. Like, Selena Gomez has so much fun in that movie. But it was actually not that great. We quickly realized that there was not a lot to do unless you're a millionaire. So we went back to Nice for the rest of the weekend, and I loved it. And it's really easy to get around in Europe. via plane or train. We took a plane just because it's quicker, but if you want to save even more money, the trains are really inexpensive. A week later, I went to Amsterdam with 3 other girls that I met on this trip, and we stayed in another hostel. If you don't know what a hostel is, it's like a hotel, but you're essentially just renting a bed for yourself instead of renting a whole room. And you're sharing the room with other travelers, usually people who are young and traveling in small groups or alone, like hostels, because they can meet new friends and it's a cheaper way to travel. You can rent all guy rooms or all girl rooms or mixed rooms. It just depends on your preference and how much you want to pay. So yeah, people like hostels because they're cheaper and you make friends, and usually they give you breakfast too. But it's not for everyone. If you really like your privacy, a hostel might not be the best choice for you, but personally, I've always had good experiences in the hostels I've stayed in. I use the website hostelworld.com just to look at what hostels are available in the area that I'm traveling to and see if they have good reviews and what other people have said about them. Anyway, Amsterdam was so beautiful. The architecture and the canals were stunning. And unfortunately, it was really rainy and cold there too for the time I was there, but we still had a really good time. We rode bikes and rented paddle boats and just ignored the rain. It was great. There's also really nice museums in the Anne Frank house, and it was a really lovely place. The main challenge for me studying abroad, and I think for a lot of other people, is just that traveling can be expensive. So it's important to know that there are scholarships and financial aid available to you. I did use a scholarship to help pay for mine, and if you come to one of our info sessions that I'll talk about later, we can help you find scholarships that will work for you as well. And some programs and locations are not going to be as expensive as others. Going to London is definitely more expensive than it would be to go to Costa Rica or something like that. And you're already paying a lot of money, most likely, to NSU because a private university in the United States is one of the most expensive forms of education. So you might even find that studying abroad could be cheaper for you than studying here for a semester. Another challenge was just homesickness, which I only really experienced during times when I wasn't doing anything. And the majority of the time I was just really busy and spending all day out with my friends, and there wasn't really a lot of time to be homesick. And plus with FaceTime and everything, it's pretty easy to stay in contact with friends and family back home. I thought a challenge for me would be making friends because I am more of an introverted person, but I quickly realized that everyone else was in the same shoes and we're all there together. So everyone who was studying abroad just quickly became friends because we had no one else. So it ended up working out great, and I loved the people I met. We're still friends today. And yeah, those are really the only challenges I faced. I pretty much had a really good experience. So overall, this is super cheesy, but the best parts of studying abroad for me were just making new friends and becoming a new person myself. And I didn't know anyone before I went, but the friends I made were just amazing, and everyone is scared. So if you're shy, don't worry, because everyone else is going to be there alone too, and they want to make friends just like you. You're gonna change a lot as a person because you're relying on yourself. I didn't have my mom and dad there to hold my hand through this experience, so I had to become more responsible, and I gained a lot more confidence because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to navigate the bus systems or the train, and I didn't know how to meet people, so I just became more confident because I had to put myself out there, and it really did turn me into a new person. I am an international studies major, so studying abroad is actually a requirement for me. But one of the biggest misconceptions is that studying abroad isn't for people with different majors like biology or chemistry. But really, it's important to know that it can be for anyone. Almost everyone can study abroad in some way, shape, or form. It's just important that you talk to your academic advisor about it so they can see what semester would be good for you. And if you can't take a whole semester off at Nova, then you can always do a summer trip, which is usually shorter. And you can still earn credits abroad, so you won't fall behind credit-wise no matter when you go. The class that I took was called Londonopolis, which was just the study of London. and the multiculturalism and diversity in London, so I transferred back here as a sociology class. And I would highly recommend studying abroad to anyone who is interested because it was an amazing experience for me. So now you've heard my experience. If you want to start planning your own trip or you just want to get more information, you can come by the office on Mondays and Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And our general information sessions will give you all the information you need to start your journey. We're at the Office of International Affairs in the Horvitz building on the second floor at these times, and these information sessions are just drop-ins, so you don't have to make an appointment or sign up. You can just come by during those times, and either myself or one of our other peer advisors will be there to help you through. So thank you guys for listening to me, and I hope to see you soon.